motivates you to still compete at 35 with 8 USHA National Four-Wall Championships and countless World Championships, National Doubles Championships, 3-Wall Championships, and all the other titles that you've won?
Well, currently I play handball for a living, so in order to keep paying the house payments and stuff, unless I decide to do something else, I have to play. So I'm in this situation. I'm forced to keep playing. But I think the reason you're looking for is I still have a love for the game. I retired for about 4 years, and I really needed to do that because if I didn't, I think my game would have gone downhill and maybe never played again. But after retiring for 4 years and coming back, I definitely have the itch to compete again, and I'm just glad I can still compete at a high level.
Who are your greatest rivals in today's game?
I would say the toughest players that I play are, of course, Paul Brady. He's beat me the last 2 times, Sean Lenning, and Alan Garner.
How did today's rivals, Paul Brady, Alan Garner, and compare to John Bike, Toddy Silvera and Vince Munoz, the guys that you played in your first generation as a champion?
Well, I think there's different styles. I think Toddy and Bike and Vince were all great players, but I believe the players get better as time goes on. I think the athletes now are faster and even stronger and have a lot more shot selection than the players used to. I don't think it's a huge difference between a Paul Brady, Sean Lenning, or Garner, between Bike and Toddy and Vince, but it's definitely a step up from what I remember.
You're currently the #1 ranked American, also the #1 ranked player in the WPH World Rankings. How long do you think you'll be able to stay on top in this second generation of handball dominance?
I'd say probably another 10, 15 years, maybe. No, I'm hoping to still compete until I'm 40. So if I can stay injury-free for 5 years, I think I can still be ranked in the top 5.
A lot of people don't understand how you seem to be the fresher and more well-conditioned player at the end of tournaments and during long matches. What enables you to outlast players 10 to 15 years younger than you and seemingly more fit than you?
Well, I think my tournament preparation is different from almost every player on the tour. My water intake is very high. I drink a lot of water. I take a lot of vitamins, electrolytes, and then during the matches that I'm playing in the tournaments, my breathing, I concentrate on my breathing. I think a lot of players, especially when it gets tight, they start holding their breath a lot when they're playing, and when you hold your breath during a match, it makes you more tired than someone that's doing correct breathing. That's a more difficult question because obviously looks-wise, I'm not as fit as any of the other pros on the tour, but in terms of conditioning, I feel like I'm one of the top 3 conditioned players.
We're here this weekend at the New York Athletic Club, one of the most prestigious athletic clubs in the world. What does it mean to you to be able to play and compete here at the NYC in a tradition of all the great players throughout the history of this game?
Well, I really enjoy the club a lot. I've been playing here for about 20 years now, and always had a great welcome in New York. I love the city, and it's a privilege to be able to play in a club where countless athletes, incredible athletes, have come out of.
What does it mean to you to have your name on a short list of the greatest to ever play this game, including Vic Hershkowitz, Paul Haber, Jimmy Jacobs, Fred Lewis, Nadia Alvarado Sr., now Paul Brady, and yourself?
It means a lot. It means a lot to be on the short list of one of the greatest players. I still have some goals in the game. Obviously, I think today's players are a lot better than the players back, Hershkowitz and Jacobs and whatnot. But at their time, they were the greatest. And if you put them into today's world, they probably wouldn't be able to compete. But maybe if they came up with us at a young age, they would.
What has handball given you in over 30 years of being involved in the sport as a junior player, a prodigy, a champion, and now a living legend?
Well, it's given me a lot of opportunities in terms of work and in terms of experiencing life at the highest level. Being a pro athlete, being at the top, really opens a lot of doors to things that I guess the common people wouldn't have access to. So it's definitely opened a lot of doors for the positive for me.
You do a lot for handball, including running junior clinics and giving a lot of junior lessons. What players do you see as being the next generation of great champions?
Well, I don't have any particular junior that pops out in my mind right now, but I do see some of the collegiate players that are coming up that are training with their respective coaches and starting to get better. It's just trying to get them to stick with it. And I think events like this will motivate juniors and collegiate players to stay with it. So, at some point, hopefully they can compete at a pro level.
What advice would you have for these future pros and potential superstars in the sport?
My best advice to any junior would be to play in as many tournaments as you can. Try and get some type of instruction, and don't feel like you have to practice on the court by yourself. You can play just practice matches and practice while you're playing, because drilling does get boring for everybody. So play as many tournaments as you can and practice matches.
You mentioned your retirement of nearly 4 years. You came back officially in 2009 and made the finals of the USHA Four-Wall Nationals, then again the finals in 2010, losing to Paul Brady in both of those finals. Do you think your rivalry would have been different had it not been for your layoff?
Yeah, I do. I think it would have, because it was coming to an end when I was just done and didn't have the love for the game anymore. It's really hard to stay on top for year after year when everybody's gunning for you, and I just kind of lost that edge, and I didn't want to go in there half-ass and drop way down the rankings. So that's kind of why I decided to give it up.
What do you need to do to end Brady's dominance, and do you think you can do it?
Well, I think to beat him, he's the best player I've ever played. So to beat him, I would definitely have to get in better condition, practice more on the court, and stay close with him in the match. He gets off to a big lead with everybody he's played that I've seen, and when you get to a big lead, your confidence level goes up. If you can stay with somebody in the game, especially towards the later of the game, that's when you might have a shot to take them out.
Jake Plummer has stepped up to grow the sport in Idaho and beyond after retiring from the NFL. I know you've been to all of his events in the last 3 years and even played doubles with him at the Canadian National Championships. How important is Jake Plummer in expanding this game?
Well, he's a living pro football legend, and to have someone like that on our team attracts non-handball players to our sport, and that's what we need. We need more people that don't play to get excited about watching our matches, watching the webcasting, and then hopefully in the future we can get on TV, and Jake's a big role in trying to achieve that goal.
What role has the WPH played in your comeback and also in handball in general?
Well, Dave Vincent's the reason I even came back to handball. He talked me into playing in that Detroit event when I played Emmett Bichotte, and he's very, very good for the sport. What he's done to get pro handball back is just amazing. He's got a lot of charisma, and him and the organization are the reason why we still have pro events like this one.
Do you see handball being a part of your life in 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years when you're no longer competing at the top level?
I do see it a part of my life on some level. I don't know if I'll continue to go to all the tournaments that I do now, after 5 years, but I know I'll have some type of involvement with the sport.
What do you want handball fans in history to say about Dave Chapman when you hang up your pro gloves?
Well, maybe that I changed the game a little bit. When I came into the sport, it was more of a fast pace, run and gun, serve and shoot, and I kind of brought a different dimension to that, so if anything, maybe that I have a little bit different style than most players.
Dave Chapman, thank you.
All right, thanks, Dave.